So without any further ado, I'm really excited to be bringing on to the virtual stage Professor Noam Chomsky. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I think everyone watching this is a huge admirer and knows who you are, but you have a new book coming out, Internationalism or Extinction. Very excited to read. And of course, Professor Chomsky is a linguist, philosopher, cognitive scientist, author of over 100 books, and someone who's, I think, analysis of politics and media has shaped many, many people's conceptions and understanding of the world. So welcome.
Glad to be with you.
I wanted to just start off with the election and then get into kind of more general timeless questions. But there's been a lot of debate about the significance of the elections, about whether to vote, who to vote for, whether it matters in a blue state, whether it matters in a safe state, only in a swing state. And I know that you had a debate on Bad Faith podcast with Brianna Joy Gray in Virgil, Texas. I was wondering if you thought anything productive came from that exchange, like if it changed the way you thought of anything or saw anything.
I think it's so simple that there's nothing to debate about, frankly. It's kind of amazing that it's even being discussed. In fact, the fact that it's being discussed shows something quite interesting about the collapse of left culture. In traditional left culture, this would never even been discussed. I mean, for the traditional left, elections are kind of an interlude. They're something that take a couple of minutes away from real political activity. Real political activity is constant activism. It doesn't have to do with elections. Every once in a while, an election comes up. You take a little time, maybe 10 minutes, to see if there's something, if there's a significant difference, if there's somebody so awful that you should vote against them. Perfectly obvious this time. It's nothing to discuss. So yes, there's somebody so awful that you should vote against them. So you go to the voting booth and you vote against them and you get back to work. Actually, it's worth remembering, which many people don't seem to comprehend, that on November 3rd, you only have two choices, assuming you're not voting for Trump. So if you're one of us, you have two choices. One is to vote against Trump. The other is to help Trump win. Those are the two choices. There are no others. If you decide not to vote, you're helping Trump win. You're taking one vote away from the opposition, puts him one vote up. So the choices are very simple. Either you vote against Trump, try to get rid of this malignancy and then move on, or else you try to help Trump win and make the malignancy worse. I can't understand how that can be discussed.
Is your position on that the same, whether it's in a swing vote or non-swing vote in terms of the kind of electoral college versus popular vote?
Sorry?
Do you think that people who live in safe states, for instance, where it's definitely not going to go to Trump or definitely going to go to Biden, like, do you think that there's an imperative to vote even in those states because of, do you think a popular vote defeat of Trump is significant?
Well, ordinarily, my own view has been in the past that assuming that it's worth voting at all, which sometimes it isn't, then in a swing state, in a non-swing state, do what you like. So I lived in Massachusetts most of my life. I usually voted, if I voted, it was usually for Green or something like that. But this election is different. We actually have a creature, first time in the history of parliamentary democracy, goes back hundreds of years. First time that there's been someone who says, if I don't like the outcome, I'll stay in office and I'll surround myself with paramilitaries and or militias who'll keep us in. And the Republican Party is organizing openly, publicly, batteries of lawyers trying to figure out some ways to find gaps in the Constitution so that they can undermine the election if they don't like it and throw it to the House of Representatives so they have a majority of states. It's not secret. It's perfectly open. Right. So under those circumstances, the greater the popular vote against Trump, the less likely it is that they can carry off these shenanigans. So if you're interested in getting rid of Trump this time, not before, I think it's important to vote against him, even in a non-swing state.